Stellantis saying they plan to lay off roughly 2,450 workers at the Warren Truck Assembly. That plant currently builds an older version of the Ram 1500 pickup.
Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, the parent company of Ram, just ruined the whole thing for Ram. And now people are asking, is this the end of Ram trucks? Ram has been the go-to for delivering rugged performance and reliable vehicles that can tackle almost any terrain. But now things are looking pretty grim and the implications are just too big to ignore. So what does this mean for you as a consumer and the industry too? And is this really the end of Ram? What's really happening? To understand the gravity of the situation, we have to trace the roots back to the formation of Stellantis, the automotive giant that sprouted from the massive merger between Fiat Chrysler and PSA Group, which meant brands like Ram, Jeep, Maserati, and even Dodge are now under Stellantis, which manages 21 brands in total. This union has resulted in notable shifts in strategy from the upper management, from a focus on electric vehicles to a complete reevaluation of brand identity. And unfortunately, this new direction has left many of the brands under Stellantis struggling to stay afloat. This shift isn't working for everyone. Several brands are seeing their performance plummet, experiencing declines that could be catastrophic. Some brands are even facing the grim reality that they might have to cease operations altogether. However, just when you think the situation couldn't get any more intense, Stellantis comes in with an intriguing move designed to regain consumer interest. They are rolling out what they call a final edition model, a limited edition vehicle that not only honors the legacy of these iconic brands, but also looks forward into the future. And here's the thing, it doesn't seem like it is working, or at least going smoothly. Why? Well, let's break it down. But before we do that, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. The new Gamble. Can you believe it? Only 4,000 units of this final edition model will be available globally, creating a sense of urgency and exclusivity for car enthusiasts. For them, this is not just any vehicle. It's designed to be a collector's dream and a lasting tribute to the brand's rich history. Under the hood, you'll find a staggering 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 engine that unleashes an impressive 702 horsepower along with 650 pound-feet of torque. Talk about raw power. Do you crave that rush of adrenaline? This beast can rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.5 seconds. That's not merely fast, it's a thrill ride that leaves you gasping and grinning from ear to ear. But let's step beyond the power and look at what awaits you inside. Open the door, and it's like stepping into a luxury suite on wheels. The interior is a masterpiece of design. Think plush faux suede door panels that hug you as you sit, patina contrast stitching that adds a refined touch, and bold TRX embroidery that shows everyone you mean business. Every detail has been precisely crafted, highlighted with a gauge cluster that proudly displays the final edition badge. And the experience continues with top-notch technology and comfort features that are nothing short of spectacular. Imagine listening to your favorite songs through a premium 19-speaker Harman Kardon sound system that makes you feel as if you're right at a live concert. The sleek head-up display keeps critical information right in your line of sight so you can focus on the thrill of the drive. A digital rear-view mirror adds a touch of innovation, transforming your driving experience into one that feels futuristic and seamless. You'll be cocooned in heated and ventilated seats that make any road trip feel like a first-class experience, complete with memory settings for the driver's seat and mirrors. Everything is designed to meet your preferences. And let's not forget the smart safety features that come packed in this remarkable vehicle. With advanced safety technologies like adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist, you're equipped to navigate the roads with confidence. This creates a truck that's not just about power, it's about intelligence and refinement. See, this is the direction that Stellantis is steering all its brands towards, looking for a way to captivate audiences and ensure their legacy. But here's the million-dollar question. How will this end? Let's pause for a moment. Trying to match luxury brands is risky business for a name that has built its reputation on tough off-road excellence. Remember when Toyota ventured into luxury and hit some bumps along the way? That's precisely why they birthed the Lexus line, a move to separate luxury from their more mainstream offerings. Here we are again, watching what feels like another poorly advised decision. What are they thinking? On top of that, can we talk about the intense turnover in leadership at Jeep? It feels like there's a new head of the North American Jeep division every time we check in. Just recently, the leader of the North American branch made their exit, leaving the company in a chaotic whirl. Why is this constant change happening? Well, it seems their pivot toward a luxury-driven strategy isn't resonating with Jeep's loyal fan base. That's got to be a source of frustration for everyone involved. Who could have possibly predicted such a situation? And let's not ignore the competition that's breathing down Jeep's neck. Brands like Ford aren't sitting idle. They are introducing new models that excite both outdoor enthusiasts and everyday drivers without causing a dent in their wallets. The Bronco is making a triumphant return, winning customers over one ride at a time. If Jeep hopes to maintain its relevance in this competitive landscape, it's high time for a serious reevaluation of their business strategy. Adding to this troubling mix, Stellantis has been facing some daunting quality control issues. Do you remember the recent reports of Wranglers catching fire spontaneously? Now, that's more than just a minor hiccup, it's a major alarm bell. We've seen 9 documented cases of vehicles igniting even while parked. Scary stuff, right? This kind of news travels fast and has the potential to seriously tarnish Jeep's tough-as-nails reputation that they've worked so hard to cultivate. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating these incidents, which could lead to recalls. Yikes! And can you blame consumers for feeling a little wary? Who in their right mind wants to drive a vehicle that could potentially pose a fire hazard? This kind of hesitation is precisely the opposite of what a brand that prides itself on durability and reliability should evoke in its customers. Now, let's get into some numbers. The numbers don't lie. The first half of 2024 presented significant challenges for Jeep, with Wrangler sales plummeting by an astonishing 33%. That's not merely a dip, folks. We're talking about a gut-wrenching plunge. And spare a thought for the Grand Cherokee, which isn't faring much better, seeing sales drop nearly 20%. When you also consider the rising production costs coupled with continuous quality concerns, it doesn't exactly paint a rosy picture for Stellantis. In light of these mounting challenges, Stellantis is making some bold moves. But are they enough? It feels as if they are hitting the brakes, desperately trying to take control before everything spins out of control. The big question looms: will these initiatives really make a difference? They are facing 2 significant hurdles, and it's crucial we break them down. Let's talk sticker shocks, an apt phrase for what Stellantis is grappling with. If they genuinely want to revive their sales figures, they need to think seriously about slashing prices. Sure, there's talk about offering discounts, like $5,000 off, but come on, let's be honest, that's not gonna cut it when buyers are craving substantial savings. What people are after is true value, especially when they are shelling out tens of thousands for a new car. Imagine this scenario: you walk into your favorite store, excited to score a killer deal on jeans, but lo and behold, they're still priced like high-end designer items. You look around and realize you can find something similar for half the price down the street. That's precisely how potential buyers are feeling about those Wranglers and Grand Cherokees right now. Reconnecting with consumers has become a critical hurdle they must leap over. Over the past 5 years, Jeep's prices have skyrocketed by over 50%. Can you even believe that? Who would realistically spend 6 figures on a Jeep? Sure, a handful might do it, but the vast majority of us are left scratching our heads in disbelief. This pivot toward a luxury market seems to have alienated the very loyal customers who simply desire a solid, reliable vehicle without the financial burden. Now, if you check out Stellantis' recent earnings reports, the financial repercussions of these declines become abundantly clear. Their net income has taken a jaw-dropping drop of 48%, landing them at $6.25 billion for the first half of 2024. That's an astonishing decrease, falling far below what analysts had projected. This downturn is primarily linked to dwindling sales volumes and a less than ideal mix of vehicles. The interplay of vehicle mix is also critical in this equation. Consider this: if the higher profit models aren't attracting buyers, and instead the company is selling a larger portion of lower margin vehicles, what impact does that have on the financials? Precisely, this unfortunate mix is exacerbating an already difficult situation. So let's keep it real. They have to tackle these fundamental issues before venturing into the luxury market. But what's the solution? Well, it's more like a checklist of tasks that Jeep needs to do. So let's dissect this together. First off, we need to talk about reliability and build quality. Jeep has run into some serious issues in these areas, and it's really starting to erode consumer trust. If Stellantis is serious about winning back their customers, they need to face these quality control concerns head on. We're not just talking about a quick fix here. This is about showing their loyal fan base that they are committed to delivering top-notch, dependable dependable vehicles every single time. It's about restoring faith in the brand and rebuilding those all-important relationships with consumers. Currently, Stellantis finds itself at a crucial crossroads. This moment presents a golden opportunity for them to steer Jeep back to its original roots and reconnect with the qualities that made it a beloved favorite among automotive enthusiasts. This isn't just any decision, it could profoundly impact Jeep's future, making this an incredibly pivotal time for the brand. The choices they make now will resonate for years to come, and just when you thought things couldn't get more complicated, there's the daunting inventory crisis looming over Stellantis. They are practically drowning in a sea of unsold vehicles, boasting one of the highest market day supply in the entire industry. What does this mean? It means that cars are just sitting idle on dealership lots, while dealers desperately scramble to get rid of them. Can you imagine being a dealer stuck in that situation? Bills are piling up for vehicles that refuse to budge from the lot. It's like being ensnared in quicksand with no clear escape in sight. Dealers are feeling the immense pressure as they strive to keep their inventory costs manageable and their businesses afloat amidst this chaos. Visualize this. Your dealership is gleaming with shiny new cars, but every single day that those vehicles linger without a sale, it's costing you money. This isn't merely about moving metal. For many, it's about survival. How would you feel if your financial future depended on how quickly those cars could be sold? The weight of this situation is palpable. So where's the backing? Dealers are feeling an overwhelming surge of pressure right now. Many are anxious about meeting their floor plan costs, the ever-accumulating interest on their unsold inventories, and some dealers are even staring down the barrel of bankruptcy. It's truly heartbreaking to watch these hard-working individuals, who have put in years of effort to build trust with their customers, feel abandoned by the very manufacturer they once believed in. Many dealers have tried reaching out to Stellantis executives, expressing their concerns and pleading for help in moving inventory. They're not looking for free handouts. What they want is to forge a genuine partnership and collaborate. After all, isn't that what business should be about? Working together to achieve common goals. Unfortunately, it appears that the industry is fraught with missed opportunities for genuine connection and mutual support, leaving both parties high and dry. The backstabbing doesn't end there. Stellantis is igniting serious unrest, not just for its dealers, but for its employees as well. Layoffs are looming, potentially starting as soon as October 8th, and this is far from a trivial matter. We're talking about real ramifications for families and entire communities. Can you picture being a part of that workforce and suddenly receiving the gut-wrenching news? It's enough to send a chill down your spine and create an atmosphere of unease. Stellantis versus workers. What's happening at the Warren Truck Assembly plant is utterly shocking. Stellantis has declared plans to lay off up to 2,450 workers at this vital facility in Michigan, a call closely tied to the halting of production of the legendary Ram 1500 pickup truck. What does this mean for the workforce? Layoffs are anticipated to start right around October 8th, 2024, with over 60% of the plant's nearly 3,700 UAW represented workers potentially facing the bleak possibility of losing their jobs. Stellantis has offered a bit of reassurance, stating that senior employees who are laid off will be given 52 weeks of supplemental unemployment benefits and healthcare coverage for 2 years. While that may serve as a safety net, it hardly diminishes the stark reality that thousands of livelihoods are now hanging in the balance as uncertainty casts a long shadow over this once thriving plant. But here's the kicker. This turmoil didn't simply materialize overnight. Back in March 2024, the company let go of around 400 non-union employees, which amounted to nearly 2% of their entire United States workforce in engineering and tech roles. They framed this as an essential move to boost efficiency and cut costs, necessary steps to navigate the choppy waters of today's market, or so they claim. And just when you think things couldn't possibly get worse, they did. Fast forward to July 2024, and things really took a nosedive when Stellantis temporarily laid off 1,600 employees at the Warren plant due to a drop in vehicle output. This paints a stark picture of the ongoing struggles with market demand and inventory management. The fallout from these layoffs doesn't just affect the factory floors. It sends shockwaves through families, communities, and the economy at large. Fain, the president of the Auto Workers Union, made a powerful statement. What affects one of us affects all of us. This isn't merely a discussion about job security. He's signaling that if changes don't materialize, we could be facing the prospect of a national strike. That's some serious talk, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. Fain isn't pulling any punches when he asks Stellantis, what are you going to do? Despite their ongoing commitments to create electric versions of popular models such as the Jeep Wagoneer and the Ram 1500 REV at their Sterling Heights plant, it gives rise to a critical question. How can they claim to be innovative while also making cuts to their workforce? This brings us to a significant question. Will these investments actually protect existing jobs, or will they merely create new positions? As it stands, there is no concrete answer about whether these actions will invigorate job growth in Metro Detroit or if we're simply witnessing a reshuffling of roles. Longtime employees are feeling this pressure acutely as they watch their colleagues face an uncertain future. At a recent rally, one worker expressed their solidarity with those at risk of being laid off, stating, "We're all feeling this." There's a tough reality settling in, and the path going forward remains anything but clear amidst all this turmoil. So what's now? Remember, just a year ago, Stellantis was digging deep during the tough negotiations with the United Auto Workers, fiercely advocating for better working conditions. They had aspirations for a brighter future ahead. However, that spark of hope has now been overshadowed by a growing sense of dread and fear as they grapple with what lies ahead. And to understand this situation, we need to dive into what the workers on the ground are saying. So let's talk about that for a moment. Take Cooper, for example. He manages a team over at the Toledo Assembly Complex, and he paints a rather bleak picture of the current state of morale among workers. Things have hit a new low, and he's got veteran employees sounding alarms about possible plant relocations to Mexico. Why is this happening? With labor costs climbing in the United States and sales figures dwindling, those warnings are starting to take on a much more urgent tone. Now, the specter of job losses hangs heavily overhead, transforming the daily factory grind into a nerve-wracking game of what if. Lori Naylor is in the chassis department at the Warren Truck plant, and her thoughts echo the fears of many of her co-workers. She's openly expressing her discontent and anxiety about their trembling job security, which feels more precarious by the day. It's tough out there, especially for those who are anxious about providing food for their families, given the very real threat of layoffs coming their way. Naylor has a deep concern for the younger workers, those who are much less secure in their jobs since they have less seniority. They feel like they're teetering on the edge, and she often reflects bitterly on the recent contract ratification. It seemed to fall short in addressing the pressing issue of job stability that many desperate workers need. And let's not forget about Pinson, another worker caught in this whirlwind. He faced abrupt changes firsthand when he was reassigned without warning to a warehouse job in Detroit. What a shock! It completely turned his daily routine upside down. These unexpected shifts stretched his workdays to the breaking point, and much to his frustration, he had to leave home in the early morning, around 9 in the morning, for a grueling 5 in the morning shift. Plus, the surprise commute costs. That just added more stress to an already overwhelming situation. Fortunately, he's managed to transition back to his original role, but with those persistent rumors of layoffs swirling around, the uncertainty still looms large over him. With all of this chaos and turmoil, it's absolutely reasonable to wonder, where's the union in all of this? What is the union doing? Well, the United Auto Workers are far from sitting idly by. They are raising their voices in response to these pressing issues, and quite rightfully so. Unions play a pivotal role in safeguarding employee rights and ensuring solid job security, especially during times of hardship. With thousands of workers looking at an uncertain future, the UAW is stepping fully into the fray, challenging the decisions being made at the corporate level that threaten their livelihoods. This is not merely about losing jobs, it's a crucial battle to keep these hard-working folks safe and sound in their positions. Consider President Shawn Fain. He's become a prominent critic of Stellantis' approach to layoffs, particularly after the shocking announcement that nearly 2,450 jobs would be cut at the Warren Truck Assembly plant. Can you believe it? At the same time, Stellantis is pumping an eye-popping $406 million into electric vehicle production. It's a double-edged sword, and Fain isn't holding back. He has gone as far as to call out the company's CEO, Carlos Tavares, for what he deems pathetic behavior, particularly regarding Tavares' astonishing 56% pay increase, while many employees are facing the very real prospect of job loss. In a strong statement, Fain declared, "The American taxpayer has invested in Stellantis. Workers have invested in Stellantis. It's time for Stellantis to invest in us." This is not just a plea, it's a clarion call for the company to start prioritizing its workforce along with its financial objectives. The union's message is solid and straightforward. Stellantis must keep its commitments to its workers. workers. Fain emphasizes that they are seeking more than mere corporate goodwill. They want solid commitments to job stability moving forward. "We need real commitments to job security," he asserted, highlighting how crucial it is for those individuals who dedicate countless hours to assembling vehicles to feel secure in their roles. This isn't simply a matter of financial compensation, it goes much deeper, touching the very lives of those impacted by these jobs and the wider communities that rely on them. Union leaders are also raising concerns about the broader implications of these layoffs, not only for the workers directly impacted, but for entire communities that depend on stable manufacturing positions to thrive. Just look at Michael Spencer, president of Local 1700. He calls the job cuts disappointing and disgusting, characterizing them as shockwaves that will roll through local economies, resulting in soaring unemployment rates and a dramatic drop in buying power for families. When Stellantis decides to cut jobs, those ripples affect families, neighborhoods, and communities that are already struggling. But the union isn't content to simply make noise. They're taking action. Right now, they are full on rallying their members to unite in solidarity. These challenging times call for a proactive response, and the union leaders are hustling hard, organizing grassroots movements to ensure everyone feels supported and valued amid the turmoil. You can see they're pulling out all the stops, from protests to meetings designed to uplift the spirit of workers navigating this uncertain future. Their message is unmistakable. Now is the time for workers to band together and confront the wave of corporate greed and apathy that threatens their very livelihoods. Lori Naylor is a perfect example of how these circumstances rippling through the workforce can affect individuals. Remember, she has openly shared her absolute utter fear for the future, particularly concerning how she will provide for her family with the potential for layoffs hanging like a dark cloud over her head. Yet, in these tough times, the union has emerged as a beacon of hope and support for her and many others who share her worries. They are dedicated to ensuring that their members' voices resonate loud and clear in this chaotic period, making certain that no one feels like they are invisible, especially as the company starts shifting its focus toward electric vehicles. This commitment to elevating the concerns of workers underscores a profound recognition of the value of unity amidst daunting changes in the industry. However, beneath this united front, a wave of unease is beginning to ripple through the ranks of union members. Are their collective efforts really enough to address the pressing challenges they face? Some members are starting to express doubts, questioning whether the support they are receiving truly meets their urgent needs during this crisis. This raises critical questions about how effectively the union strategies are addressing the real demands and worries of its members. But what do you think? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.